Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining, whoever's coming on. I'm a little early. And we're going to be talking with Tom Morello. Today is the release of my film, Truth to Power. You can see it at truthtopowerfilm.com. I'm going to add these little comments here. Pin comment at Serj Tankian plus at Tom Morello. Take over. We have taken over. We have taken over Live Nation Instagram page. What's happening? So I'm really excited. We just got a Rolling Stone write-up and review, a Variety write-up and review, and a bunch of others coming in, so it's very exciting. Before Tom gets on, I'm doing this like a bird, try to see when, do I have to invite Tom or is he automatically invited? I've never done this before, so I hope that I'm doing the right thing. Let's see. Someone from Live Nation should be telling me. Do I have to invite Tom? Rotate your phone. Yeah, I know I need to rotate my phone, but I'm trying to read the comments. It's hard to read it rotating the phone. Let's see. Is there an invite here? Okay, he needs to request the. Okay, so I think that's how it goes. Sorry, guys, I'm not a pro at this. So the film's coming out today, and you can see it online if you go to truthtopowerfilm.com. There's a bunch of different websites, record stores, film companies that are hosting the film online. It's called Virtual Theatrical, apparently. And so I'm excited for everyone to see it. And it's primarily an activist journey through music and featuring, obviously, myself, System of a Down. And it's fun. Yeah. I'm trying to read the comments. They're this way. They're this way, man. Okay. Tom will be up soon. Tom Morello and I are going to have a chat about activism, music, whatever he's up to, whatever he wants to talk about, really. I want to thank Live Nation for allowing us to take over their station. We might do it again without their consent now that we have the code. Interesting process, actually. We made this film along with Live Nation, co-producing. Very thankful for that and their faith. I should mention that one of my really good friends, director Garin Hovhannisyan, directed this film along with another film that I worked with him on called Truth to Power. Rotate your camera to vertical, bro. It is vertical. This. Okay. This is what you want? Is that what you want? Okay. And now people are texting. Turn your phone back again. I'm just going to play with my phone back and forth. Turn your phone again. Okay, turning my phone again. Is this there? Can someone just tell me, is this right or wrong? It helps Serj with tech. Yes. That is good. I like. Very much. Okay, good. So looking forward to introducing Tom when he arrives. So my question to our tech people, whether it's Live Nation or our own, is do I have to invite Tom on this platform, or will he just ask to be joined and then I hit join and we can talk? So if you can reply with a text or that would be great. Thank you. I am broadcasting, if you can call it that term, from my studio here in Los Angeles, enjoying these comments. See, why couldn't Instagram create it in such a way that when I'm doing this, right, that I can actually read the comments without bending over like this? Wait. There's Tom. View request. Go live with Tom Morello. Yes. Waiting for Tom Morello. Yeah.
Hello?
So, hey!
Did it work? Oh my gosh.
It's working.
Hey, Serj, that was really challenging, man. Should my phone be this way? So
I guess so. Everyone's saying something else, so it is quite challenging. So you've never done one of these either, then, or have you?
Oh hell no, man! I was just clicking buttons for the last 5 minutes trying to. I was watching you, waiting for me, just panicking over here, going like, how do I press the right button?
I did one of these, but I was joining in, and
oh yeah.
So, you know, I had never actually hosted, and so I didn't know if I had to send an invite, not invite. Anyway, how are you, my brother?
I'm well. The revolution will not be Instagrammed, apparently. If it's you and me.
At least not with us in it.
Yeah. My gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. How you been?
Remember when you used to be able to just show up at a march? You know what I mean? Like that used to be all you had to do. Now it's.
Now you gotta plan it all. You gotta post it ahead. Let me put on my ear things too.
Yeah. All right. Hello. Hi, sir.
Hey, man.
First of all, congratulations on the movie. That's excellent.
Thank you, brother.
That's excellent. I can't wait to see it at a drive-in, perhaps. I understand there's some.
That's right. There's a drive-in in close to Whittier somewhere, and it's a bit far away. I wish it was closer because I really, really want to get the family in the car and go to a drive-in.
Yeah. That's
You know, the first movie I ever saw when we came to the U.S. was a drive-in. Like it was like the first or second day that we were here. My uncle took us at night, and I was like 7, and my brother was like 4, and he took us to a triple horror movie, extravaganza. Didn't sleep for weeks. And, but I miss drive-ins.
Yeah, welcome to America. It's all slashers and drive-in movies. To this day, Serj, I've never been to a drive-in movie, so your movie might be my first drive. I've never been.
Dude, that'd be amazing.
Even with my Midwest background, I never went to a drive-in movie, so yours might be my first.
The kids would love it. The kids would love it because they get to eat popcorn, stay in the car. You know, they don't have to be as quiet as they would have to be in the theater.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a nice experience.
All right, so why don't you tell me and the people about your film? What the heck is this movie, and what are we going to enjoy at the drive-in?
So years ago, I had this crazy idea of basically shooting everything that I did because I knew I was going to have the most busiest professional year in 2011. Strapped the camera to my head. I've interviewed you and friends and spy glasses. All this stuff had someone following me.
I remember the spy glasses. Yeah, I remember the spy glasses.
Totally. So, and then looking back at the footage, I'm like, wow, that's a lot of great footage. You know, I went to Frank Zappa's studio. Gail was alive at the time, and just incredible music kind of footage, music-based footage. But it was too POV. It was like I'm like a bird when I can't keep my head still. So it was unwatchable. I mean, unless you want to puke all the time. So, but the idea of having a film it was in my head, and I really wanted to do a film. And my good director friend Garin Hovhannisyan and I, when we were talking about this other film that we were making, I Am Not Alone, I had all these drives. I'm like, we got to do something with this. We got to do an interesting film with this. And so we had a conversation, and he's like, what are you interested in revealing? I'm like, I'm not really interested in the biography, the backstage scene, the rock star thing. I really want to show an activist journey because I think that's interesting. You know, you are an inspiration as an activist to me, my brother, from the causes that you pick up and work on to the amount of dedication and hard work that you give. And that's why we formed Axis of Justice together years ago and had the radio show and all of that. So, I mean, we worked together on a number of things, but so that I wanted that to be the story because I considered that to be different than just a rockumentary, which is everyone's got one, right? So that's really the film. That's really the film.
Great.
And I'm so grateful that you're in it and, you know, talking.
Of course, I'm happy to be, and I'd like just to tell people like how we became friends was not first and foremost through music; it was through activism. And I think you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that the day we met was like the first day of Axis of Justice activity. Like I had been on, I think I had gone to see an Ozfest show in San Bernardino and was kind of outraged because there were a lot of like white power tattoos in the audience and a lot of just like kind of hate stuff, going on, while at the same time on the stage that day, every band on the main stage had at least one non-white member. And it was like sort of this odd kind of juxtaposition. And I thought that there needs to be like some voice in the pavilion that speaks to the fact that like bands are not down with white supremacy and racism. I mean,
Right.
And so, and I think I reached out to you about like maybe trying to do something or go on tour together. And I think Audioslave was maybe going to do a tour and then didn't. But anyway, so the first action that we took was there was this really cruel, kind of like medievally cruel edict in Santa Monica where they didn't allow people or organizations or businesses to provide food for homeless people. Like if you've got an extra sandwich, you can't give it to that homeless guy because they didn't want to like attract homeless people to the business community, which they thought, was going to be bad. So anyway, so in defiance of that edict, I think we went on the radio and just told fans to come down with picnic baskets full of sandwiches and whatnot. And we just sort of went all over Santa Monica feeding people who were hungry. And I think it was like the first time that we kind of hung out and met. And so our friendship is one that is really like sort of bonded over that.
It had, and that is the first time that we actually properly communicated. I had been to your house on a New Year's Eve giant party and said hello to you, but that was not that was not when we could sit down and be serious.
That's for an entirely different documentary, sir.
That's totally different documentary. Yeah. That's a rock documentary.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, definitely. I mean, we worked a lot with Axis of Justice for many years, and I'm really, really proud of what we've done together. And we did a radio show at the time on KPFK Pacifica Network. Yes. Now you have a radio show on is it Sirius?
Yes, on Sirius Lithium. I have a show called One Man Revolution where I play what I want to play and say what I want to say. But I mean the whole thing from our radio show to the to the Axis of Justice actions, to the many times outside of the world of Axis of Justice when like I've called on you to play at some benefit show or something, you're on the list of people that always says yes if you're available. But I think that the message that sort of transcends all those things, and a message that has been in the music that we have been involved in and in our life of activism, is that the world, history, like music, is not something that happens, it's something you make.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like
history's
not something in history books. It's something that is currently ongoing, and you can be there on the sidelines and sit it out, or you can actively have your hands on the steering wheel of history to help drive it in a direction that is more just and is more humane. And because the world is not going to change itself, and the very simple lesson of historical change, whether it's progressive, radical, or even revolutionary, is that history or the world isn't going to change itself. That is up to you. Now, that sounds like a daunting task until you realize that whenever there have been important historical changes, small, from getting a stop sign put up where there needs to be one in your neighborhood to changing an economic system, it's been done by people with no more influence, intellect, courage, power, creativity than anyone watching this right now. It's just people. It's just people that change the world by standing up in their place and time for a more just and humane planet. That's been my thought. Like that's the message in the music. That's the message of Axis of Justice, and that's the message that like in your life in this film is conveyed.
Right. It's important not to feel impotent about change. That
right.
And systems want us to feel that way. Governments want us to feel that way. They don't want the least participation, the better for power. Right. And that's why. I mean, we were talking about American politics because in the film I talk about corruption and fighting, injustice everywhere in the world, and including Armenia, which had before the 2018 Velvet Revolution, there was a corrupt post-Soviet oligarchic government, and people were unhappy. They were leaving the country. There were not a lot of economic opportunities, no justice in the courts, all of that stuff. But I also talk about U.S. politics and K Street lobbying firms and the Electoral College, superdelegates. It's legalized corruption within this country. And, till today, our voting day is not a weekend or a holiday where people can actually have time off to go vote. I find that mind-blowing, let alone the lists that people are excluded from voting in different states and all of that stuff. Put that aside, but just the fact of that is mind-blowing. So time for more changes, buddy.
Yeah, well, may know, Serj, like for 2 years, I worked as the scheduling secretary for a United States senator, Senator Alan Krantz of California. I made his schedule whenever he was in California. So, and while he had he was on sort of the progressive end of the senatorial spectrum, I really got to see how the sausage is made, and it's uglier than you even think. It's like my day, the main thing I was scheduling was for him. I mean, God rest his soul, he's passed some time now, but the main thing I scheduled for him was him to talk to rich dudes to ask him for money. That's kind of the whole day, like that's, and then those rich dudes call, I'm on the other phone when they call back when they have needs too. You know what I mean? Like, remember that time I donated? Yeah, now I need this, and
I need him to show up here or there or do this or that.
Or vote on this bill that you might not be feeling in your heart, but me and my investors are feeling right now. So that's and that's the leash. That's the leash that the corporate lobbyists have over Washington, which is one of many problems. But anyway, so it's like the that is the challenge. But the good news is that that seemingly throughout human history, seemingly insurmountable things. It was once, taken for, like the right of kings was taken for granted, or slavery was taken for granted, or the fact that women should never vote was taken for granted, or that the Berlin Wall would be forever, or that apartheid would be, a stain in Southern Africa forever. And all those things, which at one time seemed immutable and like granite, were changed, were fought, were overcome by people no different than anybody who's going to be watching your movie at any drive-in around the country.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of movements for change. I really feel like in the next 4 years, as horrible of a time that we've lived in the last number of years, I would say, and I'm not just talking about a particular administration. I'm talking about a trend toward right-wing politics around the world. Mm-hmm. Exacerbated by, immigration. It's a reaction to immigration, refugee crisis, and all of this stuff. Climate change as well, which causes immigration, obviously. I think there's going to be positive change. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling like, you're seeing movements around the world, whether in Myanmar or Belarus or different countries in the world that are reacting. And, one thing I learned that I'm really, really excited to share from another film that we worked on, I Am Not Alone, which is about the Velvet Revolution in Armenia, is the concept of decentralized civil disobedience, which was used effectively and peacefully to completely, change the system. And that basically is, instead of rallying in one place, getting arrested or violence or whatever the result will be, going everywhere around the country, wherever you are. You know how you always said, act locally, think globally kind of thing?
Yeah.
Act locally, like go to your corner and block the street. The whole country, everyone blocks the street. All streets are blocked, At one point during the revolution in Armenia, the government officials were taking ambulances to go to their offices because it was done. It was over. They were on, there is a way, and we're talking very universal here, not just about Armenia or whatever, but there is a way, there is a key to do this the right way, and to do it in a way that's, because there's always the numbers predict, there's always power in numbers, and the majority of the people can never be oppressed. Ultimately, when it's time for them to stand up, they're going to, and it's not going to matter.
Yeah, and one of the things I think has been very important about your music and activism is how strongly it's spoken to the Armenian community, not just here in the United States, not just in Los Angeles, not just in the United States, but, and not just in Armenia, but around the world. And I think that's, clearly that is one of the tent poles of your activism. And it's great to have that there is that voice of you and your band to be able to be, a broadcasting beacon for the issues of Armenia that, for a lot of, fans of rock and roll music may not even be able to find it on a map necessarily. But now they're aware, of, because of its importance and relevance to you and your band, it becomes something that can be tangible, and that the issues there can resonate with the issues in their own lives and wherever they're living as well. It's always, I don't know if we ever talked about it specifically, but I think it's really key. Like that is the key to, of the sort of like the ignition of your activism, I believe would be my take. And I think it's been very, very effective.
I am extremely proud of my brothers in System of a Down that we were able to galvanize for the 2 songs and the 2 videos that we put out, which not only raised necessary funds for humanitarian aid in Armenia, but also really served as a media blitz against disinformation, misinformation, and social media bots that was being unleashed by the Azerbaijani military from the beginning of the war. And, you know, I'm just really proud of what we've accomplished with that. And I think, you know, that to me is power. That to me is making a difference, you know, and to be able to do it with music and rock at the same time is fabulous. Right?
Yeah, I mean that's a good day, that's a good day at the office. So why don't you just sort of perhaps sum up for the fans that are watching now, like what would you like people who see the movie to take away from it?
A couple of things, a couple of simple things. One is what you mentioned at the beginning when you just got on, that there's no reason to feel impotent about politics or about changing the direction of your life, your country. Everything is micro, macro, you know, and there's always hope, no matter how bad the situation feels, you know, against the corner that you feel, against the wall. There's always hope, and that change can happen. That inspiration can always come, and it's about uniting and making that change. Two, you're not just an artist, you know. You're not just one thing. You know, you and I get this all the time, especially on social media. Shut the fuck up and write music, you know, like stop, you know. And you know, it's like we as human beings, we're diverse beings, you know, and just because you do one thing, you know, it doesn't mean that you can't do another thing. Just because you're a student doesn't mean that you can't be an amazing something else or whatever. So that notion of that kind of limiting a human's personality based on what they do, this documentary is basically trying to say that that's really dumb.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, I mean, it almost goes without saying, but you know, I get a ton of that as well. And the one thing that you just have to say first and foremost is when someone says, you know, shut up and play guitar or shut up and play your band. First of all, it's simply because they disagree with what you're saying. It's not a matter of it's just like stop saying something that makes me uncomfortable enjoying your guitar solos. You know? Right. I want to enjoy them without being reminded, you know, that Christian white supremacy was a problem for the indigenous people of North America.
Absolutely.
And the other thing is it's like it really when you pick up a guitar, you don't put down your First Amendment rights, you know, to speak to what you were just saying. Like it is we have a multiplicity of people that we are, and two, like if you're able to make music that is universally agreed on, that everybody likes it, it's probably pretty shitty music in my regard. You know, if you're not saying something that has some edge that's pissing somebody off, I'm frankly not at all interested in hearing it.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's not the kind of art. First of all, that's nothing to do with rock and roll. Rock and roll is born of rebellion. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's like, please don't say something that, you know,
offends someone. Yeah, totally.
Well, Serj,
what are you working on?
Congratulations.
Tell me what you're working.
I mean, here's the thing: is I've been completely locked down for, you know, this time. I've got, you know, my 97-year-old mom is here, my 89-year-old mother-in-law, and so we've been very, very careful and cautious with them. My mom did get her second vaccination a couple of days ago, so we're sort of on the road to perhaps reintegrating with society. But, you know, I've tried to, you know, while the schooling is happening, I have younger kids, so it's basically both running a nursing home and a daycare center and a kennel all at the same time.
While trying to do music.
Yeah. So in between that, I try to squeeze in some music. I had you know, during the time, you know, while there hasn't been concerts, we all miss concerts. We all hope concerts return in the not too distant future. But, you know, there were a number of projects that I had sort of put on hold, which gave, you know, this year I put out a photo memoir called Whatever It Takes. I did an EP, a record called Commandante. I put out a Fender, you know, Soul Power signature guitar. Wow, it's like all this kind of stuff that's, you know, has been important to me, but has been sort of sidelined because I've been on, you know, rocking Belgium or somewhere. I've been able to continuing to work on music and, you know, hopefully have more music out, you know, the rest of this year.
And the book's amazing, by the way. The book's really incredible. Enjoying it.
Oh yeah, thanks very much. Thanks. Yeah, it was really fun to put together and kind of go through the attic and basement and whatnot and find these, you know, early set lists from, you know, I played in a band with Adam Jones from Tool when we were 17 years old, and there's a set list from our show in there, and it was pretty, you know, to the Rage stuff, to the Audioslave stuff and whatnot. But it was pretty cool to go through all that.
Oh, it's awesome, man.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Yeah, same.
How about you, sir? So yeah, I was gonna say, what's next for you? You've got the film out. Then after you collect your Oscar, then what's next?
We've got the EP, Elasticity, coming out, 5 rock songs. That's coming out March 19th. The film's out today.
Great.
Yeah. And during lockdown, same thing. I had a lot of time to finish things that I never had time to finish. So I've got another EP kind of idea penned and almost finished, which is more of a soft, kind of electro rock, kind of mellower rock kind of thing. I've got a couple of albums worth of cinematic instrumental music that I want to release, and a 24-minute modern piano concerto, which was an interesting challenge I put upon myself during quarantine.
Great.
But yeah,
great.
No, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. We'll be releasing
Great. I mean,
stuff.
I love how you always challenge. I mean, one thing that we have in common is like we have motors on us. You know what I mean? Like we have motors, and and like how we challenge us. Like we're sort of like the lane that we're perhaps most renowned for, and then there's all the stuff that is of equal passionate interest. That we are involved. I'm from me making acoustic records to to you doing piano concertos to the activist work as well. So it's always an honor and a pleasure. And congratulations on the movie. And everybody, get to your nearest drive-in, go see Serj's movie. Yeah.
Love you, brother. Give my love to the family. Thank you for coming on.
You too, man. Take care. Have a great day, and everybody stay safe.
You too.
All right, cheers.
Thank you, everyone.
I don't know how to hang up.
Yeah, I don't know how to hang up either. I guess please. Thanks for coming on, Tom. You can watch the film Truth to Power at truthtopowerfilm.com, or find a drive-in if there is one around you. I'd rather go see it at a drive-in if I can. So we'll be uploading this content as well for people that weren't able to see this, or if you want to re-review it and watch Tom and I go off again. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, while we try to say goodbye. I'm trying to hang up. Bye, guys.
I know. Okay. How do we do this? I don't know how to hang up either. Let's see. There's a download button apparently. Live. Okay. Are you sure you want to end your live video?